Inspired by a lot of people that I know who are currently in Ireland, including two of my patrons, Jerry and Michael, I'm going to give you guys some money saving tips for if you visit Ireland. And I guess they'd work if you moved or lived here too. One thing that really annoys me when I'm watching lists like this is when people give really common sense tips like,
put your money aside, save it, so that way at the end of the year you'll have more money.
Duh. To me, that's really patronizing, so I'm going to try and give you some actual, useful, put in action tips. I'd like to give you the benefit of the doubt that, you know, if you save money, you'll have saved money. Also, these tips do apply to all of Ireland, but because I'm based in Dublin, a lot of them will be specifics about Dublin. And the reason for that is also because when people come to Ireland, they usually pass through Dublin at some point. So I might throw in some specifics about that. That's just a thing. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is where you stay. Now, there are loads of places to stay in Ireland, and of course loads of different methods you can use. You can use Airbnb, B&B, a hotel, a hostel. So you have loads of different options for places you can stay, and I would presume you guys are going to do your research and find the most affordable method for you. However, when you are doing so, it is really important that you take into mind your location. For example, if you're visiting Dublin, a lot of stuff is going to be in walking distance if you stay in the city centre, so it might be worth paying a little bit extra for your hotel in order that you're able to walk everywhere. If you do decide to rent a car, make sure the parking is included in your package, because parking in Ireland can be very expensive, especially in the cities. You can get by pretty well in Dublin using public transportation and taxis. If you are going to use public transport, there's a really cool thing called a leap card that'll save you a lot of money. Hashtag not sponsored, this is a leap card. You can, of course, pay as you go on public transport, but they make it really difficult and you'll definitely end up paying a lot more. You can't pay by card, you have to pay exact change, and you can't use any notes, only coins. So buying one of these for like €5 is definitely going to save you money. They also cap it at like, I think it's $7.50 a day or something. Don't quote me on that, it's something around that ballpark. So you can take as many trips as you want in that day and you're never going to spend more than that amount. If you are going to be using public transport, I recommend you get the associated public transport app that goes along with it. So if you're using Dublin Bus, get the Dublin Bus app. If you're going to be using the Lewis, get the Lewis app, and so on and so forth. Theoretically, they're supposed to tell you the times that the buses are due to arrive, but I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes the buses just disappear off the schedule. They just don't come. That's just a thing, it's a flaw in our system, but generally they're pretty good. Another way you could get around Dublin pretty cheap is by using city bikes. I know you've probably seen these in a lot of places around Europe. So for €25 a year, you can pick up a bike somewhere in the city, cycle it around, and drop it off somewhere else. One thing they don't give you with that is a helmet, and I see a lot of people getting hurt, so make sure you bring your own helmet or buy a helmet if you're going to do that. The next thing you need to know about is taxis. So taxis in Ireland are regulated. So if you're looking for an Uber, you can get one, but it's going to cost you pretty much the exact same amount as a regular taxi. And in fact, it probably is a regular taxi because we're not allowed to just have people off the street just decide to drive their car around. All taxis are metered at a regular taxi rate. This is pretty good because it means people don't really get ripped off so much and you can usually track your taxi and stuff. Right now the best app that I use and most Irish people use is one called My Taxi, though it's about to change its name to something called Free Now. To me it's cool because you can put in ahead of time exactly where you're going, so you don't have to have a big conversation with the taxi driver if you don't want to. When you get into a taxi in Ireland, it's already going to read about €6, and that's just the way it is. That's just stuff that they already charge for before you even get in. However, I can get across town for about €10 to €12. So to me a taxi is pretty good. Do be careful if you're going from one end of Dublin to the other end of Dublin though, because that's going to cost you quite a lot of money. The Google Maps app will tell you exactly how you can link up your buses, so I just suggest you do that. The next thing you might want to think about is food, and food is obviously something you're going to need if you're visiting Ireland. There are of course normal travel tips, like if the place you're staying supplies breakfast, maybe stock up on a sandwich while you're there. But there are also some really cool apps you can use to save money too. You'll be familiar with Groupon, and Groupon has loads of deals in Ireland as well. Then there's another one that I use all the time called Voucher Cloud, and I get a lot of really good meal deals on that. My favourite restaurant in Ireland, Captain America's, has meal deals on it. Another good tip to know is using the early bird menu. Pretty much every restaurant in Ireland has an early bird menu, and that means if you get there before about 6:30, you'll get a really good deal. Even Dublin's fancy new Ivy restaurant has a deal where you can get an entire meal for €25. The way they're going to take your money is through alcohol. And yeah, if you're in Ireland, you're probably going to drink alcohol unless you're teetotal, which is cool. You're going to save money if you are. But yes, alcohol is not cheap in Ireland. Most people before they go out will prink. That means pre-drink with their friends in like somebody's house or apartment. And you can do that too if you're a tourist. Not in somebody's house or apartment, in your house or apartment. It would be awkward if you just showed up at somebody's house or apartment. In most pubs and bars and nightclubs, they'll have some kind of drink deal or promotion on that night, so do ask up at the bar what's going on, or you can plan ahead of time by going on somebody's Facebook page. Another side note to be aware of is that Irish measures are bigger than UK measures. I'm not too sure about the US ones, but just be careful because you're going to get drunker faster, so yeah.
And I'm gonna go down to the river!
Another really cool way to save money if you're visiting Ireland is that when you go to pay for something, VAT is included in the price on the tag. So when you go up to the till, you can ask for a tax form back. And when you get to the airport, you can hand in all your tax forms and you can claim all your VAT back, which is pretty cool. If you're buying souvenirs, I would recommend you stay away from the tourist trap spots because they're going to charge you a lot more money. Regular shops usually have some kind of tourist swag in them, and Penny's is one that does particularly well. I know it does a Dublin souvenir line in all its shops and it's really cheap. Also, when you go back to America or whatever, people aren't going to know it's from Penny's, so people will just think you're the coolest. Somebody asked me before if you can haggle in shops in Ireland, and the answer is no. You cannot haggle in shops in Ireland, it's just the price is the price. Maybe if you're at a market or something, but even then, it's not part of our culture really, haggling. We don't do it so much here. Obviously, if you go to Temple Bar, that's Dublin's central tourist spot, you're going to spend more money. However, you might just want to go there and enjoy yourself for one night. But if you do, make sure you budget it in and don't just go there to eat or whatever just because you happen upon it. Go there for a reason. Because if you go there, you're going to pay a hell of a lot more money than you would 10 minutes up the road this way or 10 minutes up the road that way. Obviously, when you're here, you're going to want to check out some entertainment. Most hostels do live things like table quizzes and music entertainment. Even if you're not staying in that hostel, you can check out and join in on those things. There are some really cool pubs that do live music, like the Cobblestone where me and Lenny recorded our songs. Also, Whelan's do rock music most nights of the week. That's a really cool place, as do Fibber McGee's. If you're going further afield around the country, there are pretty much pubs that have live music every single night of the week. They'll have trad music that starts at a certain time, and it's definitely worth checking out. So check in with the locals. Don't be afraid to ask somebody at the bar because people are very friendly in Ireland and love to have a chat about things like that. Again, you can use your apps and they'll be able to tell you where you could get a cheap comedy gig or something like that. And because everything is so close wherever you're staying, it's probably going to be really easy to just travel along down to that. Just walk your way over. The next thing you might want to be aware of if you're traveling over is things to do with beauty treatments. So there's a lot of places like Boots and Superdrug that do really good deals, and you can buy little things like your toothpaste and your deodorant really cheap. I know there's two competing shops of Boots and Superdrug in the Jervis Street shopping centre, and they usually have really good deals on things because they're competing with each other. It might be nice to get your nails done or something over here, and there's really cool places on Capel Street, I know that for sure, that do really cheap and affordable nails. I have found throughout Ireland actually that most beauty places are pretty reasonable, although there are some really high-end ones that ask you to pay a lot more money, so do check up on the prices before you go. The same goes for if you want to get a massage or something. The prices can run the gamut, but there are some really affordable places to go, so do check out those prices first. I'm telling you, Capel Street is great for that kind of thing. I think that pretty much covers all the broad topics, but do feel free to ask me any specific questions in the comments below. I might not get to it if you're asking something way after I've posted this video, but that's another reason you should subscribe and turn your notifications on because I'm more likely to see it and be able to engage with you. Y'all thought you were so funny saying you wanted a ghost to come if you subscribed, but no, the ghost doesn't work that way. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. It came up in the last video. And that's it. Have a great weekend. Feel free to engage with one another in the comments in a respectful way, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye. What deals they have on that particular night? In most places, in most pubs, another really great way to save money is, it's probably going to be easy to ask me in comments anything just. Are you a Dublin dog? No, you're not a Dublin dog. You're from Kilkenny. Are you eating my hand again?